Okay, raise your hand if you thought we were going to see a trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 at the Tokyo Game Show in 2025. Well, if there was a spot to see something, that would have been it. But alas, no such luck. Guess we're going to be waiting until the Game Awards.
No! God, please, no! No!
Well, while we did not get any trailers, we did get a bunch of information in the form of interviews thanks to Mr. Hamaguchi, the director of the Final Fantasy VII Remake project. Plus, we have some updates for the Switch version of the game, Rebirth as well, and a lot more stuff in the middle. So let's not waste any more time. Timestamps below if you wish to skip ahead to any particular section regarding anything that we're going to be discussing today. I'm Tallen with Direct Gaming. Let's get started. Okay, first thing I want to talk about is everything we learned about Part 3. For those of you who don't know, TGS or Tokyo Game Show was this past weekend as of the last full week of September. There, Hamaguchi did a lot, and I mean a lot of interviews regarding the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, how far along Part 3 is, other projects he's producing, and more. Regarding Part 3, turns out that Rebirth is actually selling pretty well, and there is no need to worry about the trilogy's finale. Seems Square was not really happy only a month or so after the Rebirth initially launched, but they have finally learned that the long game kind of works too. Shocker, I know. You know, if I had to take a guess, I'd probably say it's that new leadership. They're making things a lot easier, especially with their multi-platform push. Hamaguchi himself is actually quoted saying, "The second entry, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, has been doing very well on both PS5 and PC. I know some fans have expressed concerns, but please rest assured, we'll be able to deliver a proper, high-quality third installment." Hamaguchi also says that work on the next title is progressing smoothly. Quote, "Development is going extremely well, and the game is shaping up real nicely. A lot of the content is already playable, and the game's direction and form are firmly set in place. Right now, the team is united around refining everything." Now, that right there is absolute music to my ears. Not only is the game like Rebirth selling well, and the third game is not negatively affected, but Part 3 is going extremely well, and a lot of the content is already playable. Plus, they're refining everything. Translation, polish, and optimization. Mwah. Absolutely love to hear that. They're polishing the game since a lot of it is playable already, which makes sense since most of the open world stuff was completed during Rebirth. All that is left is Northern Crater, Wutai, Rocket Town, and a small of the few other areas that we haven't been to yet. This means more time to optimize since Rebirth, while a great game, did have some issues, mostly with performance mode and lighting on the PS5. So here's hoping that they can fix Part 3 stuff after Rebirth before its release. We also know that motion capture has been going on as well. If you happen to follow any of the motion capture actors, there have been pictures going around on social media for the main cast of characters. This is boding extremely well because that means they're going through cutscenes and everything right now, which is awesome. This bodes well for a 2027 release, which will be the 30th anniversary for Final Fantasy VII. Now, as long as the English localization can get fixed and triple checked, I think everything's going to be really good. For those of you asking why I even mentioned localization, it might sound small, but trust me, it is a mess right now for this remake project. If you want to learn more about why, we have a big video coming up pretty soon. So either sub to the channel to get notified when that video is released, or if you're watching this video in late October or further, check the pinned comment and you can watch it right there. Bottom line though, regardless, Part 3 is coming along extremely well. They've been working on it ever since Rebirth essentially released, and we know that over 80% of the team is still there. It's almost like that helps when making a game progress go faster. I know, mind blown, but at least Square is learning. Hey, Future Tallen here real quick. One thing I forgot to mention while recording was that during these interviews, Hamaguchi-san came out and described the Remake series as a chance to rebuild, not rewrite what FF7 meant. It's also about preserving the story's impact. He wants longtime fans to feel the same excitement and surprise they did back in 1997, and hopes new players can experience that feeling. So, once again, for those in the back of the room, this is not, let me repeat, not a sequel, and the main story points are not changing, but being expanded upon thanks to books and other media officially released over the years. If you were hoping for major changes, then temper your expectations now. And yes, I also hate to break it to you, but if you were fooled by the English marketing for Rebirth trailers, I recommend you go watch the Japanese version of those trailers. The English really misled with its marketing when the game was released. Again, this is going to be covered more in my localization/translation video releasing soon /is released if it's the end of October 2025. So make sure to sub to get notified or check the pinned comment to go check out the video. Okay, back to President Tallen with the rest of the video. Moving on from part 3, we've got some updates regarding Remake and Rebirth over on Switch 2 and Xbox. In fact, I actually got to try out Remake on both handhelds at TGS during the press days. While I know it's a PS4 game technically, it runs actually extremely well on Switch and the Xbox handheld. Only thing I could not personally get used to though was just simply the controls for navigating the menu when using action commands. This is just more of a personal preference though. I've always preferred having the stick and the directional buttons swap on something like the PS5 controller. Just a personal preference, doesn't mean it's bad or anything, but just something to keep in mind though if you happen to be playing this in handheld. We also did learn that just like for the PS5, there's going to be a demo on Switch, and I'm also assuming Xbox as well, but I didn't see any articles for it, that will release soon before the actual release of the game. Remember, Integrate also comes with the Yuffie DLC. This demo is going to be great for those who want to try out the game before buying it. We also learned that Rebirth is also coming to both platforms as well, meaning that we should expect a demo for that as well releasing before Rebirth is actually released on those platforms. I'm going to assume in 2026, and I've also seen that kind of floating around in some articles, but we'll have to wait and see. And before anyone asks, no, we do not know if Part 3 is going to release on all platforms at the exact same time. While Square is doing their multi-platform push, it does take time for that, and we don't know anything when it comes to the deal that they made with Sony for this actual project made years ago. We don't know any of the details of it. If I had to venture a guess, I would probably say that Part 3 is going to release on PS5, then 3 to 5 months later, it will release everywhere else. That is just a guess though. Time will simply tell. It is nice to hear though that Rebirth is already being prepared for the Switch 2. Again, that makes sense since the game is already verified for Steam Deck, so it shouldn't be too hard for them. Here's hoping it can run on performance mode on Switch 2 though, docked at 60 FPS. I think the last thing that I personally saw was that Remake does hit 40 FPS performance mode, but I'm not sure if that was docked or handheld. We'll just have to wait and see. Regardless though, the fact that we can get that full game onto a little device like that's pretty much only the power of a PS4, I'm all for it. Final thing I want to bring up in regards to the Switch 2 version of the game, Remake will be on a game keycard, meaning that you will need to download the game if you buy it that way. Now, I know, at least online, that people hate this with a capital H. However, I will say that the game is shown to be over 64 gigabytes on Switch 2, so it's not that shocking that it's going to be on a keycard. Since the game cards that Nintendo has provided for this current generation, there's only 2 of them, and 64 gigabytes the last I checked was the biggest one. Hamaguchi-san does know how much these are actually hated. During an interview, he actually said that the write speeds on the game cards is not the fastest for certain games that take advantage of things like SSDs. He also does hope that players will eventually just come around to these things, which maybe not the best thing to say online, but I think this was probably done in person, not simply online in terms of the interview quote, but regardless. Honestly, when I read something like this, I kind of just shrug my shoulders. We know that physical gaming unfortunately has been on the decline, plus a company is going to do everything to make more money. Nintendo's game cards, like I mentioned beforehand, are not cheap since they only come in 2 sizes. This is no secret. This has been public knowledge for a while right now. Is this going to hurt sales for something like Remake? It's hard to say. I know it's been hurting other games. Most of the people on Switch and Switch 2 don't really keep track of things online like we do here, so only time is going to tell. I'm going to assume it would probably do well in certain countries like Japan, but maybe other countries more Western, maybe not so much, especially since it's been on PS5 and PC for a while now. I will also guess that Hamaguchi-san can't just simply come out and say, look, if you're pissed about this, go yell at Nintendo for not taking physical media more serious. Heck, yell at my personal boss for focusing on profit over gamers. Again, let's just be perfectly honest here. Every company has been doing the same thing. PS5 still does physical media, and most games are on the disc, but they're then installed onto your system. Switch and Switch 2, at least first party for Switch 2, stay on the cartridge, thankfully. But PC, Xbox, handheld devices, and others, and let's be perfectly honest, probably next gen, are gonna go full digital. However, there are rumors for the PS6 it will use the detachable disc drive like we currently have with the newer versions of the PS5. Look, long story short, if you really want this game for Switch 2, but hate the key cards, buy it digitally. If you want it physical, then go for PS5, since that's literally your only place for that. I know it sucks, but it's where the current gaming landscape is going. Actually, this might be a hot take. Let me know in the comments below. But I would bet that there would be way less outrage over digital only if we knew our games that we bought could be downloaded / installed 50 years into the future. I mean, Steam has been doing this for years now, but I know that if I buy a game on there, I can download it anytime I want. Case in point, Transformers Fall of Cybertron was actually delisted years ago, but I happened to buy it before that happened, and I can actually go onto Steam now and I can still install it even if I've deleted it from my system. If we were guaranteed that our purchases were going to be there for generations to come on consoles, then I'm willing to bet less people would be upset at where physical media is going. Just my take though. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or not. Final thing to mention real quick though is that if you are on PC, and maybe this is also over on PlayStation, I haven't checked, There is a Square Enix sale going on for everything Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, etc. This also includes the twin pack for the Final Fantasy VII Remake project. This includes Remake, Remake Intergrade, and of course Rebirth, all for 40% off. It's a really good deal. Just remember though, if you're getting this on PC, install the proper translations mod and play in Japanese voices. Again, hit that sub button to get notified when I finish the video talking about localization. It's a big one. It may not sound serious, but it really is. And with that being said, that is everything that we currently know of when it comes to Part 3 and the Remake project on other platforms. But now I want to hear from you. Are you excited for Part 3? I personally cannot wait. 2027 needs to get here now. Also, Square, as a personal wish, just real quick, release it at the end of February in 2027, please. Just like you did with Rebirth. It's going to work out perfectly for my personal work schedule. I know, it's a lot to ask, but, it'd be really nice. Wink, wink. Also, while you're down there in the comments below, let us know your favorite Final Fantasy VII character. With that being said, though, I'm going to wrap up the video here. If you enjoyed it, then a like on the video shows us that you enjoy this type of content, and don't forget to check out our other content in the top right corner and pinned comments. And don't forget to join us live every Friday evening US time to discuss all things gaming. Regardless of what you see on screen, come on in, talk with us about anything gaming related. We're happy to have those discussions. And who knows, maybe your discussion ends up in a video in the future. Thanks for watching the video though. I've been Tallen with Direct Gaming. I hope you have a great day and week, and I hope to see you all in our next video or in our live streams. We enjoy getting to chat with everyone who stops by. Until next time though, John A.